Hello everyone. Here also it was quite beautiful and amazing to see how many things are actually made at our university, because this is also a chance to see how interdisciplinary these study programs are. Talking about interdisciplinary, I'll share a presentation about intermedia. So talking about the interdisciplinary intermedia study is, as Agnieszka said, it's in a fine arts section. We have 4 studios run by very different practitioners, visual artists, researchers, curators, and different experts in the discipline. 4 studios run a BA 2-year program and then a 2-year of MA program that both end with diploma works that are extremely important in our case because they become public exhibitions or events or performances. It depends, of course, on the particular study case. In the first year of BA, you're actually having lots of courses and basics, both of image, video. What does it mean to have visual impact? Nowadays, we create some experience design and creating for first year BA students. They're quite often first events or exhibitions. And then, of course, you go with second and third year more with individual projects for MAs, more practice-based research. So just to let you know, we also try to make a community of intermedia. We're a small department compared to other big departments at our uni. And I'd maybe like to also share some information that could be used here. So on the chat, you have some information how to contact myself and how to find some more information in our social media. And of course, for portfolios, we can already meet right after. So to come back to this presentation, intermedia is not exactly equal to new media, because quite often intermedia is we understand it as media art. We do use media, but I'd like to make an emphasis on this, that it's rather looking for useful media to express quite important things that are indeed researched by our students, young artists, and also those who will become later art directors of specific projects or work in international teams, not necessarily working as artists in art galleries only. So when we talk about media, it can be a unique media environment, such as this work of our graduate shown at Ars Electronica in Linz. That's a unique opportunity to see a work of a person that for years was interested in computer games and game designing, but then introduced this performance with public participation. So it's quite important that all the media here, to talk about intermedia, are used, from visual media to sound media, lights, and creating specific experience that is designed for audience. So it can have a background in anything that our students and young artists are interested in, and then we help to develop these projects more or less. So intermedia then is practice-based research, contemporary art, not modern art, experiments with various media, also finding your own ways to express yourself, to express something that you want to tell to the world. It's rather long processes of art making, from research as a start through experiments to an art display, especially in public spaces and in spaces where there are very different audiences, where audiences are meeting. So it's also designing experience. And sometimes this experience, talking about media, can be in dance, in contemporary choreography, with lights, with sounds, with creating scenarios for events. So intermedia is actually a number of tools, and we understand art as a tool as well, to navigate through complexity of the times we live in and how we can imagine futures or different futures. So sometimes we do imagine future the way it's taking a shape of something non-human, like in this unique example of the work of our graduates. Sometimes it's a meeting that's organized to talk about something important, so a discussion can be also a medium. Sometimes it's creating a small architecture in front of some public place, like in here, that's an example of public library, where our students opened a space to meet people literally and offered some program with different activities. Sometimes it's creating a sculpture that needs to find a context in an underground place, almost looking like an archaeological site, you see here. So archaeological site for the future will be to discover some examples of the devices, talking about media, devices that we used to have some time ago. So intermedia are tools in art research and art in public space, in video and filmmaking, and sounds and installations, and social projects, and VR. We need to understand how these technologies are changing nowadays, what gives actually visual impact to the public. And sometimes we need to write, and we need to read, and we have a lot of readings, of course. It's international, local. So we have to refer to local context, but also we work a lot with international partners, such as different universities, but also particular guests, visual artists, experts, and their disciplines. So the program of Intermedia is actually how to use different tools, how to use different media to create interdisciplinary experiences for public. And we also have to understand that nowadays it's not an artworks that is considered one artworks. There are many artworks, and we need to understand to whom actually we deliver our messages as contemporary art. Is it artworks that is idea-driven? Is it market-oriented? Is it institutional, non-institutional, alternative, not yet defined maybe, or how we want to define new artworks? So the questions that we raised during studies ahead already is what will you do after graduating? Which of these artworks you want to be in? That's why apart from courses, classes, and discussions, and all these programs and workshops, we considered very strongly that one of the most important things is how you shape your portfolio. And by portfolio, I don't mean just a PDF file or your website. I mean how you share it to the world, to the external people, to the external communities, and also we try to seek for job-oriented paths, and they're discussed within the study program. So arts, contemporary arts is for art galleries and museums, we know, but it's also educational practices, different workshops, something that was quite briefly called post-artistic practices, so these practices that are non-institutional, socially involving projects, mapping of needs and ideas of different people. We address our arts and results of our processes to designing spaces and experiences. And also we very much take care of what is community nowadays, community of artists, community of different audiences. And so I also consider quite important to talk about collectives, teams, teamworks. And the works of our students and graduates, just to briefly show you, they are presented with our partners, such as festivals, such as art galleries, institutions, also inviting guests from such, and also creating a specific ambience and atmosphere between students, because we really look for creating this community of actually people who are individuals, but yet in specific situations we can form a group, a team. And we research, and we talk, we experiment. Sometimes there are very different places and contexts, as you see here. We rent spaces, especially for some projects. And of course, we work also with professional galleries, professional art spaces. Sometimes we create site-specific locations and situations in which art is presented and delivered to different audiences. As you can see on this photo, for example, it can be a very neo-Baroque ballroom sometimes. Sometimes it's performances, performance-driven. Sometimes it's creating applications that are presented in very unique locations, like in this diploma work of our graduate. Sometimes they are simple, minimalistic works. Sometimes they are particular actions or activities that create a specific ambience between people invited. And we constantly change something. So that's important, that change is part of thinking about contemporary art as a tool, as something that is used to deliver a message, to deliver some information. And sometimes we travel locally, we travel internationally. we try to do our best to really create and sustain such a community and team without divisions. It's consisting of students and tutors, but we're trying to do as much as we can to create situations in different locations, both, as I mentioned before, institutional ones and very non-institutional ones. A lot of discussions, a lot of unique visits, study visits, sometimes festivals that we create in different locations in which art is presented and shown, from fashion, through media, photography, and really interdisciplinary to create a specific design for delivering such communicate. Sometimes it's performative, like in this example of a performance of our former student from Dublin that created a very unique performance for entire day, durational performance, so-called, with his self-recorded music. And of course, designing exhibitions, designing public presentations of art is extremely important nowadays. So we do see for study visits and we do travel a lot to see the best examples, and then those examples are discussed and then later introduced in the practice of our students. So you see lots of very different examples that's each I could talk for hours, but that's not the case. This is collaboration with Polish Dance Theatre, very unique combination of art exhibition and performances in the theatre themselves with interactive installations. So lots of these tools are really to create a specific occasion for people to meet and to discuss something that comes from seeing art. And this is an example of the way we work. Recently we created this series of crits, so critical feedback from different tutors combined, not divided into classes, but rather shared experiences with different tutors coming to see how our students' work is actually being developed. You can see some interiors of one of our buildings at the university here. So the crit is an idea that we all meet, gather, and talk about something we work on a current stage of that work. Sometimes, as you see, it's dance-driven with a video. Sometimes it can be a performative lecture. This is a work of our former student from Japan, a very unique slide lecture delivering important message about being socialized. What does it mean nowadays? Installation works, public presentations, walks, workshops, talks, and I think that's more or less what I wanted to say about INTERMEDIA now. So it might have been short, but of course, if you have any questions about INTERMEDIA, I'm here to answer. And even today, we already have some scheduled meetings with some of the candidates. So I'm very happy to be here for you. Thank you very much.